In today's exciting show, we're going to take a deep dive into one of the Caribbean islands. That's right, the island of Roatan, with our guest Dexel from Roatan Culture Tours. We have some fun updates as our spring break cruise draws even closer, and of course, we get to showcase another great fun photo in our Show Us Your Face segment. All this and more coming right up because this is Cruise Week TV Live. Hey everyone, and welcome to the show where we know next to nothing about cruising, but we bring on the experts who do. And today we get to find out all we can about the island of Roatan and the two ports that the cruise ships dock at. Our expert on the island today is Dexel, who runs Roatan Culture Tours with her mother. So please be sure to type your questions about this amazing island in the comments, and our producers are going to hand pick them up, and then we're going to ask Dexel live. But before we bring in Dexel, we want to thank our sponsor today because without them, we would not have such a good professional looking show, and that is vMix. They produce the live video production software that drives our show, and now with vMix 19, it allows us to handle up to 8 guests at the same time. So if you're thinking about producing a live web show, you need vMix. So for a totally free 2-month trial of vMix, be sure to go to vmix.com, and we thank them for the support of the show. So let's talk about sunny days and warm tropical nights, as most of the USA has snow right now. Lucky me, I live in Florida. So let's talk about Roatan, and thanks for being on the show tonight, Dexel. Can you hear me all right?
I hear you perfectly fine, and thank you for having me on the show.
Dexel,
it is a pleasure to be on there.
It is a pleasure to have you on the show. Personally, I've never been to the island of Roatan, but I've only done some pretty light reading about it. The areas that interest me, which are like the coral reefs, because I'm a scuba diver. That's one thing that interests me. So like the marine life and all that is so I'm very much looking forward to hearing about the island.
Well, we have a very well protected coral reef. Right now we have the marine park that helps conserve and protect. And then we also have a program that is named Vika that they also do protect the coral reef and the mangroves and all of that. That is like a nursery for sea life around the island.
Very nice, very nice. So like, I mean, do they allow people like scuba divers to go in there? Just out of curiosity, for my own knowledge.
Well, they do allow scuba divers to dive on the reef, but you have to do it with a dive shop that is selected here on the island because we have various dive shops that are approved to do diving, and then we have people that just do snorkeling, and you can go on your own from the beach in some parts on the west side. But usually when you go off of the beach, it's just mostly snorkeling.
Wonderful. Well, Dexel, thank you for that little bit of information. Now, I'd like to turn our questions over to I'd like to turn it over to some questions from our viewers, if that's all right. We have one coming in from Tammy Carr Munzert. She wants to know what are the best sites on the island of Roatan.
The best sites I think are more well. We have the east side that is mostly green and hilly and more lush. And then the west side of the island, you have the beach side, the more tropical, watery side. We have beach on all sides, of course, but the best beaches are on the west side.
Very nice. And Kim Roddy wants to know. Now, Kim Roddy says that she absolutely loves Little French Key. So, can you give your opinion of that island?
Little French Key is a beautiful place, and the service there is great. If you're looking for a relaxing day, that's the spot to be during your time here in Roatan. And then they also have water activities there, and they have different animals like the kids can go enjoy. So it's
nice. That's good. That's good information. Um, so this next question's incoming is coming from Periscope. It comes from Bugsy in Periscope, and he wants he or she, I should say, wants to know because I'm looking at a screen name. Um, do tourists need to use can they use their money from the United States there, or do they need to exchange for local currency? And this is I find this to be a good question because many destinations like Bahamas or even Cozumel, like they'll accept United States currency, but do they do that in Roatan, or is there a better idea to get currency exchanged?
No, everywhere on the island do have their rates also placed in dollars so that the people can know, like, the exact amount they have to pay. There's no need to exchange your U.S. currency and lempiras, which is what our currency is, and U.S. dollars is widely accepted island-wide.
Okay, that's good information. I appreciate that. How many ports do you have on the island of Roatan?
We have two ports. One is ran by Royal Caribbean, and the other one is ran by Carnival Cruise.
Oh, so they don't come into the same port.
No.
Oh,
No,
that's different. That seems a little bit different. How many cruise ships do you think come in there about every week?
Well, it depends. Right now we're in high season. Just this week we had approximately 14 ships. But then when you go down to low season, which comes like in March, April, we have 4 to 5 ships a week. Some weeks one ship.
Wow, that's quite a difference. So, next question comes in from Jason Tyler. Jason wants to know if there's any casinos in Roatan because he's a gambler.
Yes, we do have a casino which is located in French Harbor and the French Harbor Mall. It's the only mall here on the island. There could be one, I think, in a resort in West Bay, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But there is one here in French Harbor in Mega Plaza Mall.
So how just out of curiosity, how big is the island approximately? Uh-oh, Dexel? Uh-oh. We appear to be having some technical difficulties. This happens from time to time, as you understand. Let me see. We're gonna work on getting Dexel back. If you could just bear with us. Yeah, just bear with us for a second. Our technician is on it right now. But feel free to keep adding your questions into the chat because we're hoping to get Dexel back here in just a second. Sorry about that, guys. As I take a sip of amaretto. Well, this is quite exciting. I've never been to the island of Roatan, so it's actually, for me, this is very exciting to learn about. Oh, looks like we're getting Dexel back.
There we go. Hi.
Hi.
Dexel, welcome back.
Okay. Not sure what happened. The island is 36 miles wide. Long, sorry. And at the narrowest point is 1 mile wide. And then the widest point is 4 miles. 1.6 miles.
Very nice. All right. Well, thank you for answering that question after the little technical difficulty we had there. I appreciate that. Well, all right. So, okay. So it's not real. If an island that big, you still have a lot to do there.
We do have a lot to do, even though it's not that big.
That's exciting. So if Charisse wants to know now, if you were to tell somebody one good reason to come to Roatan, if somebody asked you what's the best reason to come to Roatan, what would you say?
I would say that one of the best to Roatan is to meet the people and learn about the culture.
Oh, that's
We're
actually
very
a really
warm,
good
friendly
answer.
people, and our culture, I think, is something that is very unique, and it varies from town to town.
That is a really, really good answer. I don't think, see, I don't think I've ever asked, like, I mean, most of the time when I ask that question, people will tell me, oh, the sites over here are really good. But I mean, to actually go in and meet the people there, that's actually that's kind of heartwarming.
Yeah. Well, when you get to South Roatan, you'll get to see what I'm talking about. Because you're going to meet you at the port.
So, of the tours that you offer, what kind of tours do you offer from your company, and what would you say the best one would be?
Well, we offer all of the tours we can get. We offer all wide variety. We can get you connections to all of them. Um, the best one to offer you, I would have to say it depends on what you would like, because me personally, I like going on the Eastern adventure, because we get to see the mangroves, we get to go see the Garifuna, which is a culture here in Honduras. You get to see parts of the island that are not so touristy. So that's the tour I like. But then you have people that are more adventurous that would like to zip line. People like that like to go snorkeling and scuba diving. Then we have people that want to lay out at the beach and relax. So it depends on what you like, and we offer the wide variety. And also, we offer horseback riding and all of the various parks that you can visit, like the iguana farm and the monkey farm.
So, you mentioned earlier that there is only one mall on the island.
Yeah, there's only one like major mall on the island.
So, what about other places to shop? Lynn Blackman wants to know where the best place is to shop.
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. Because clothes you can find in the mall. Then we have souvenirs. If you like souvenirs, I would recommend going to Halukuliki or the one over in Plaza Mar, which is in Coxon Hole. Those are the nicest souvenir shops. Then we have two major grocery stores, which is Elgin Supermarket and the Plaza Mar. And then we have those are for food and different food supplies. We also have an Ace Hardware. So it depends on what you're looking for.
Okay. So now this is a question. The next question that I have comes from Kim Roddy, and it's honestly, this is one of my favorite questions to ask any guest that we ever have on the show. What is the best local food?
The best local food?
Mm-hmm.
Well, things we enjoy at home is called a tapado. It is coconut-based pot, cooked in different roots, cooked in coconut nuts, and you either put in it fish or salty, and that's one of the local things. And if you're not so adventurous and want to try something like that, you can try the beans and rice with the fried plantain and the fried fish.
You had me at coconut. I just want you to know that. The minute you said coconut, you sold me on that dish.
Yeah.
Are there now? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Most of the food here on the island are coconut based, because if we're not using coconut milk, we're using coconut oil or something like that.
Mm. I'm a coconut freak. I love coconut. Anything coconut. And honestly, if you were to give a recommendation, I have to ask this too. Like, would you be able to recommend a really good local restaurant, like a restaurant that maybe the locals would go on a Wednesday afternoon to go get lunch? Because personally, I'd rather go to a place like that than go to any touristy kind of restaurant in any of the tourist areas of the island.
Well, right now we do have a new local restaurant that has opened up. They serve local food, which is Caribbean island food. Caribbean island food is the name of it. It's owned by a local, and they serve as a buffet style. If you're looking something more high end, then I recommend also Gios, which serves the best seafood on the island. And right there, one of the things that I usually recommend to some of the tourists that I've been with, if they wanted to try something very Honduran, are the empanadas.
I love empanadas. Whew.
Yeah, the empanadas are the best with the hot sauce. We get them over in a local fast food restaurant named Snappers.
Oh, I love I love a good empanada. Once again, you sold me. All right, so we have to stop talking about food now. We're gonna have to change the subject, otherwise, I'm just gonna get really hungry. And I just ate before I came here, and I'm gonna get hungry again. It's just gonna happen. So, doing in the spirit of changing the subject, I'm gonna ask the question that Gail wants to know, and this is actually another question that I like to know. What is the best beach or the best area for snorkeling?
The best area for snorkeling off the beach, well, we have two, really, because we have Roatan, which you can go half one day and snorkel right off there, and then the reef is right there. Then you have over in French Key, where you can do boat snorkel, which I recommend highly. They have what they call the lobster city, and the locals there have been feeding lobsters and conchs and things like that, and have been protecting the area, and has it very nice.
Nice. Well, that's good. So now the tours that you give, could you explain what and your most average tour? What would your average tour include?
That's a question for my mom. I'm gonna what is the most average tour that we attend here? Hold on.
I was wondering when I was going to stump you on something.
Island tour. A lot of customers like the East-West Island tour for the reason they get to see both sides of the island with optional stops. Those optional stops can be shipwrecks for pictures. They get a lot of photo opportunities.
Wow.
They can do lunch during the tour and then hang out at the end of the day on the beach. So it's like doing different activities and getting to see the island all in one.
Did you say? Did I hear you say shipwreck?
Yes, they have two shipwrecks. Well, one of them is almost gone, but two shipwrecks near Carnival Fort that you can see, and people like to stop at those and take pictures.
Wow, like real shipwrecks. Are there any exciting stories attached to those?
The story, I know one of the ships was found on the south side of the island, on the north side, sorry, and then the other one caught fire, right? And the other one caught fire, and they stayed like stuck on the reef.
Wow. See, I'm a big I love like hearing about like island history, like the history of any place that I go to. So could you tell me a little bit more about like maybe the island's history or? Oh, Dexel?
Yes.
Oh, could you tell us more about maybe the history of Roatan or like the native, the history, the demographics, or any things like that?
The history of the island?
Yeah. How did they discover it?
It was discovered by Christopher Columbus. Well, the island was discovered. The island is made up of three major islands and a lot of keys around it. Roatan is the one that is in the middle, which is the largest island. We have Guanaja on the east side and Lucilla on the west side. In 1502, Christopher Columbus discovered what is Guanaja, and those days the islands were inhabited by Indians, native Indians. And later on, we had known that the islands became like pirate hideout.
Pirate hideouts.
And most of our places have names that are after either ships that pirates were on, or pirates that came here to the island. And later on, after the Native Indians inhabited here, later on we have the pirates that came through, and then you have where the English, started staying here and things like that. This is why people in the Bay Islands speak English, because most of their relatives or ancestors were English speaking. Even though we're in Honduras, the Bay Islands' first language is English, not Spanish as it is on the mainland.
Wow.
And, all of the islanders are from English descent. We have people with descendants from England, Germany. My last name is from Germany. I'm a High. So different places like that.
That is so cool. See, I love hearing anything about history and so who doesn't love a good pirate story? I love a good pirate story, so I want to thank you for sharing that with me. If I do make it to Roatan, which I plan to sometime in the future, I want to hear more about that in person. But for now, we had another question come in from Kim. She wants to know what is the coldest temperature that it gets to on the island, and what time of year is it that it gets to the coldest temperature?
That's usually around December, October, October to December. Sometimes the cool weather can last all the way to March. It depends. It varies from year to year, but usually sometimes it drops all the way to 50. They have 2 seasons. And we only have 2 seasons during the year, which is summer and the winter. The summer can get up to 100 degrees. It is very humid here on the island. Today has been a very hot day. I'm not sure what the temperature was, but
today has in February.
Yes, today has been very hot. But last weekend we had a lot of wind and it was very cool, even though it was sunny still. But today there's been no wind and it's been very calm. Yeah, today's been a very beautiful beach day.
Wow. So, Lynn Blackman asked another very important question. This is another one that I love that always comes in no matter what guest I have, it seems. What drink do people often buy on the island?
Well, we have tourists that usually come in and try the monkey lala. And one of the things that they like to also try are the local beers. And the pina colada also.
So is there like a...
Coco Loco at Parrot Tree. And another famous one is the Coco Loco at Parrot Tree.
What was that last one?
A Coco Loco.
Oh, Coco Loco?
It's like 7 different types of rum mixed with coconut water in a coconut shell.
Okay, I think I've had something similar to that once. Is there a different? Okay. Is there like a different kind of specialty drink on the island, like something that that island is specifically known for?
The only thing I've known that people really come asking for is the monkey lala and the Coco Loco.
Oh, and the Coco Loco, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's good to know. All the islands in the Caribbean seem to be like big into rum, which is I mean, honestly, I have no problem with rum. It gives me heartburn once in a while, but it's a thing. So nothing's better than being in the Caribbean, kind of drunk, stumbling down on the beach. Yeah. All right, Dexel, I want to thank you very much for joining us as our guest today. This has been a very informative, very special chat that we've gotten to have with you. But before we let you go, though, I have to know one thing. I want you to tell me now if any of our viewers are to come to the island of Roatan, how can they get in touch with you for a tour?
Well, all you have to do is go on to our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page that is Roatan Culture Tours. You can inbox us there, or you can go on to our webpage, which is www.roatanculturetours.com, and that gives you a link to contact us there also. And also, I would like to let all of the viewers know that if you're planning to come to Roatan, starting March, we're going to have a raffle. And depending on our Facebook page, because we're going to raffle off a tour. And just check it out so that you can have an option to win the tour for free for when you're visiting Roatan.
Drexel, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Any more questions, you guys can inbox me and I'll be happy to answer them.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Drexel. And now, concluding that interview, we're going to move on to this week's Show Us Your Face segment. This week's photo comes from Paula Barrero, Shannon Lee, and Kim Roddy, all dressed up for, I think that's Elegant Night, right? Or is it a throwback night? Either way, they look lovely. And remember, if you want to be featured on our Show Us Your Face segment, you need to send in your pictures to photos@cruiseweek.tv, and maybe your photo is going to end up on our show. So, who wants to see us back on the ships again? March 27th is our next cruise date, and we're going to be going on the spring break cruise with Cruise Life Cargo and Kelly Brewer Travel. We're going to be streaming live from New Orleans and on the ship all week. And we'll be bringing you an amazing day trip to Cozumel with our tour guide for the day, Adrian from Adrian Cozumel Tours. Being spring break, I wonder what wild fun the ship's entertainment department is going to have lined up for us. Also, our weekly show that week is going to be on Friday, March 31st, and it's going to be live on board the ship, hopefully around the Lido deck with plenty of guests popping in and out and saying hi. Look forward to that. Season 2 for Cruise Week is going to begin in October, and this is going to be the big one, featuring 5 first-time cruisers to join us on our amazing adventures. And if you know anyone who hasn't cruised before and would like to, have them apply and send them to cruiseweek.tv to fill out an application. Also, in order to make our next season of Cruise Week work, we need your support. Help us reach our funding goal, and we'll give you something back. We now have our Inner Circle t-shirts that are exclusively for our Inner Circle members to show the love and support for the show and the information we bring to you each and every week. Check out our support page at cruiseweek.com/support, and you too can grab one of these super cool shirts. And let's make Cruise Week Season 2 happen. So, Matt's going to be back next week, and he's going to be talking to Ron Hiller about his many cruise travels. Ron is a longtime cruiser, just like many of you are, and he's going to be recounting his trips on the high seas. That's next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that being said, I'm Joe, and we'll see you on the ships.